When I found the man of my dreams, I got obsessed with understanding how to make him stick around. So I ended up watching over 50 videos on how to get him obsessed. But all that did for me was attract low-value men who put in minimum effort, waste my time, and leave me emotionally drained. So I built my own system by studying relationship psychology, Tony Robbins, and neuroscience that not only made me marry the man of my dreams, but actually made him chase and obsess over me. And in this video, I'm sharing my journal notes with you for how to create a lasting commitment with the man of your dreams. Okay, so here was my first learning that I had, and I didn't even know I was doing it because I didn't actively choose to do it. It's kind of something that my boyfriend pointed it out way later for what got him to commit to me. So we were on our third date, and I remember him showing me the website of his company. And he asked me that, what do I think about it? Now, obviously, I wasn't trying to be a bitch to him, but I started to think about my previous experience, and I gave him my honest opinion. I said to him that, hey, I don't think that this is actually serving a purpose marketing-wise, and this is what you should be doing instead. And I went into details. I look up, because I was so focused on the website, I look up at his face and his eyes widened. And he's staring at me in this, I would say, funny way. So I kind of forgot about this moment. But then about a year later, I asked him that what was that moment that got him to commit to me? And he said that that one date really stood out because he remembered thinking that I was authentic to myself and I was unique for him because I had an opinion, and he could trust me and he could feel that I'm a person of my own and I wouldn't bend my ways to kind of cater to whatever he wants. So think about this. You know that friend who always says yes to everything you want, yes to the place you want to go to, yes to everything you say, and she's like, I've done this in the past, I've been there, and it annoys you. It's like, this bitch is not being honest with me. And that's because there's something within us that kind of repels that energy of someone who's trying to please us or someone who's always a yes person. We are looking for honesty. We want someone who we can trust and who can bring a different opinion on the table. So I'm not saying that, like, start treating them like a friend or start criticizing the man in front of you. But here's the key. It's about being unique and it's about being authentic to yourself. Sometimes I want to compliment him. It's perfect what he's doing. And sometimes I want to tell him how he could do it differently. That's what makes you, you. I know you're getting confused right now because you're thinking, oh my God, how can I criticize him? Or how can I tell him what is wrong with him because you remember that I triggered his stress? No, we're not creating a manipulation video here. So let me tell you the second one, because this will go completely opposite to what I just said, but you need to stick with me over here, okay? So the second one is making him feel seen and understood. I noticed that men a lot of the times feel that they are in a very vulnerable spot when they're sharing their real feelings. And you will not come across a lot of men who will actually put their feelings on the table. When they do that, it's our responsibility to make them feel understood and heard. Because here's what happened for me. So we were at this cafe and he was sharing a very personal story with me for what he'd been through in the past with gymming and with his family. So I'm there listening to him, and I remember that this server behind me shattered a whole plate of glasses and dishes or something like that. And in that moment, all the voices in the cafe kind of like slowed down. You know that silence you feel when you're talking but everyone else stops talking, like in a movie? So everyone else slowed down, and I didn't even turn around to look what happened, and my hand was kind of on his in his hand, and I said, hey, keep going. And I could tell that something shifted for him in that moment. I saw this look in his eyes, almost a tear. And I remember thinking that, why does this feel so special? And later on in discussions, I discovered that it wasn't that I was just like, listening to him, but I made him feel heard, and I made him feel that he's the most important person in the room for me, and there are no distractions. if you've watched How I Met Your Mother, for Lily and Marshall, they have this moment where it's only that one person and everything else blurs out. And when you watch that, you'll realize that it's about making the person trying to feel the focus of your presence and your attention. And men really crave that kind of attention, because think about the circles they're in. Think about their family. They're usually the ones who are giving and listening. That's what will get him hooked and addicted to you. But here's like a star note in my journal, because this is the real key for how you will make your man feel understood and not just like you're sitting there and listening. And if you don't listen to anything else, turn on your listening for just this one. The first part is that it's not about your listening. It's about bringing your whole energy to the table. And here's how you do it. You make eye contact, and your eyes, because we women have these soulful eyes and we know they have a lot of magic, but sometimes we forget to use it. So look into his eyes deeply and make him feel comforted. Like, bring that, not the doughy victim eyes, but the compassionate, loving eyes that he feels that you're listening to him. Don't break eye contact, but also don't like stare. It's kind of like a soft glaze and like an understanding nod. Step 1 to listening. Step 2 to listening skills is keep on reminding yourself where your feet are. I had a habit of going into my head and to keep on overthinking things. Like while he was talking, I would start thinking about something else. Don't do that. When he's talking, keep reminding yourself and be where your feet are. Be present where your feet are, okay? Now, the third one is the real key, because I think that's what really made it click. I actually literally use the word and the phrase, I understand you. To make him feel understood is the whole name of the game, because men are often misunderstood in the society. They even feel that they're separate from themselves. And if you can be the person who understands them, they will not only be addicted to you because of dopamine, they will actually get addicted to you on the core essence of their whole nervous system. Will crave the safety that you provide. Oh, and I forgot one. Ask better questions. So it's very important that you're not just listening and nodding, but you're also guiding the conversation, that you ask interesting questions. Turn up your curiosity a little bit. If, for example, he says that I went through this, and a simple question you can ask is, how did that make you feel? What did that do for you? How did that change your life? So ask better questions that allow him to open up more and also show that you're engaged. And it will actually keep you engaged too. Now, I might get a lot of hate in the comments for this one. And trust me, this is not another version of stroke his male ego, okay? So if you're taking notes right now, take out a highlighter, because this is gonna be the most important juice and the meat of it, okay? Because this is what sets apart the relationships that last for 30 years versus the ones that die off in 3 months. We women have this innate feeling that I need to keep proving myself to the world. And I think we built it because somewhere along the way we were taught that we're being underestimated, and we feel a need to show that we're independent. Here's where you need to put the guard down in a relationship. So, girl, here's what I found out, and this might trip you up a little bit. But basically, men are trained to protect. Think about this, like, I don't know, 200, 300 years ago. Men were mainly going for war, and men were literally going to war to protect women. And that kind of training, it doesn't just go away. What that means is men's nature, and when they feel the most masculine, is when they feel that they're protecting their women, that they're providing for their women. I'm not saying quit your jobs and let them pay every bill for you. What I'm saying is it's about finding opportunities for him to actually tap into his masculine energy and for you to be in your feminine. It's not about boosting his ego, but actually what you need to do is find opportunities for him to be the man and to actually provide for you and to protect you. So think of things that are like small, okay? But things that actually help you to connect with him. It's all about connecting with him, right? Now, for example, in my washroom, there was a lot of ants at some point. I don't know where they were coming from, but I was genuinely scared of them and I did not want to deal with them. So I asked my husband, I'm like, hey, can you please take care of the ants? And he was so proud. He came with his little tools and he sprayed them away and he cleaned up the washroom, and it made me smile. Like, I was actually happy because I had someone to do that for me, but also it made him feel like the man of the house, and he was so proud for dealing with the ants. He's actually in the kitchen, he's laughing, he didn't know. Okay, so I call this the hero complex. Men love being your hero. Let him be your hero, okay? And one of the other things I did in the early on of our dating, when we weren't even in a relationship, was I was moving homes. And I packed up everything myself, and I said, hey, I can take care of this part by myself. But when I actually had to lift the heavy boxes, I didn't do that. I asked him that, hey, can you please help lift these boxes and move them to the truck because I'm too tired? Or I wasn't like acting like the damsel in distress. I did not want to play the victim. I genuinely needed his help. But him doing that, it associated a feeling within him with me, which is I made him feel strong. It wasn't that he felt strong because he lifted the boxes, but I created an opportunity for him to feel strong. So here's the actual key: to not make him feel like a slave that's doing little tasks for you, like a little manipulation monkey, and to actually make him feel like a hero. And I found this, trust me, by making a lot of mistakes in the past. The key is to notice his action. Not only tell him what to do, but notice him while he does that for you. So for me, that meant giving him thanks, giving him genuine appreciation and attention for what he was doing for me. No matter how small or how big that action is, if he's bringing you a cup of water, if he's helping you do something that you could have done yourself, it's about seeing the intention and appreciating it. Genuine appreciation, it looks like looking at the smaller details and thinking of your partner for how much effort they're putting in it for you. When women light up and then they have this joy, this smile, and this radiance, not radiation, this radiance, it lights them up. Men are willing to go to wars for your smile and for your joy and for you to be in your soft feminine energy. Don't be like, yeah, thanks. Don't throw attitude. Be kind, be gentle, and trust me, it will bring that childlike joy back into the relationship and actually make him commit, because he will want to do things for you because of how you make him feel. Just tap into that genuine gratitude that you can have in your heart and make them feel loved for it. So the way I would summarize it is have a reward system, okay? Don't just make him a slave, but how you actually make him a hero is by having a reward system. The reward could be thanking him. The reward could be doing something in return for him. The reward could be just lighting up and smiling. That's all, but there needs to be a way to make him feel appreciated. And actually, you can even use the word that you're my hero to make him feel that way. Okay, now you understand all the things you need to do to get him to commit, but we haven't talked about what you need to avoid at all costs, because it will kill the spark like that. So I learned these 4 C's from Tony Robbins, and I actually keep a list in my journal, and I do a self-check every week to know that I'm avoiding them. That's how important they are. The first C is called control. And let me refer to my notes. The first C is criticize. So criticism, in my mind, used to feel like feedback. And I thought that, the first point I made was me being authentic and honest with myself. I would feel very comfortable criticizing my partner. And I didn't realize that it was literally making men run away from me. So criticism actually triggers a very core insecurity in men that makes them feel rejected. And rejection is an experience none of us want to have, honestly. When you are picking on little things that he's doing wrong or he's not meeting your standard, you're actually turning him into a robot who will only follow your orders. But he's not a robot. He's a human and he will want to break free out of that. So you need to not only like kind of set your expectation aside, you need to stop imposing your own standard of what's right and wrong onto him and accept him how he is. So criticism is the first killer of relationships, and avoid it at all costs by turning criticism into appreciation. Look, criticism is very different from honesty. If you want to be honest, find gentler ways of communicating your standard to him. For example, I felt this one time that I cleaned up the kitchen and my partner used it after I did. So I didn't, and he didn't clean up after himself. So I didn't go and yell at him that, hey, you use the kitchen and you're not picking up. Like, it wasn't that. I said, hey, baby, I put in a lot of effort into cleaning up the kitchen. Can you please help me clean up after, the smoothie you just made? So it didn't feel like criticism. It just felt like a direct ask.
Okay, full disclaimer. Full disclaimer. She is barely cleaning after herself. Don't trust anything that she says. And she cleaned up once, and she makes it a whole video about that. Okay, just saying for people to know.
Oh my God! I don't think I should be recording this. The second C that you need to avoid at all costs, and I actually know you're doing this pretty much on a daily basis, is closing off your energy. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. He does something little. He doesn't pick up after himself. He doesn't compliment your makeup or something. And suddenly it triggers within you that he doesn't care about me. He's not noticing me. And what you do next is you start to pull off your energy and you have the sass and attitude and you start to punish him in little ways by making a micro comment or by ignoring him a little bit. Think about this. What are you doing in that moment? You're not attracting him, but you're closing off and destroying your relationship by consistently teaching him that he's doing something wrong. I know you're doing this because you think that will create connection within you, and you think that it will help you bond and it will bring him closer to you and it will make him notice you. But you being sad or you being a victim and you being rude to him is doing the opposite. When women close off their energy, it makes men feel scared and hurt and confused, because all they want, like I said before, is for you to radiate. And when you take that joy away, it literally makes their heart stop. So don't do that, because that punishment is harsher on them than it is on you. And also, how much stress and resentment are you holding up in yourself? And that resentment starts to stack up negatively until you completely snap. So this one time I was at the gym with my husband, and the way I usually do it is I do supersets, which is I do the squat rack, then I go and pick up some weights. So I rotate between them. My husband came up to me and he said, hey, are you still using the squat rack? And I said, yes, I am. And he's like, but you're here picking up weights and you're hogging the machine for so long. Can I use it? And in my mind, he sounded a little bit aggressive. So I immediately went like, okay, and I closed off. And my mind started going back to, I always give up the machines for him. How can he be so rude? How can you use the word hogging? And that is so rude. I will never give up a machine for him. And I started to pick up the weights more angrily. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going home. That's what I went and said to him. So this is me closing off my energy, and this is my version of it. I said to him, I'm like, hey, I'm done with my workout. I'm going home. And suddenly he could see something's off. He's very tuned in. And he's like, what's wrong? And that's exactly the reaction I was hoping for. And I know you do this too. You close off expecting a reaction out of him, and you're like, got him. I finally have his attention. But that's why we keep teaching our nervous system the wrong behavior. So in that moment, I had to bring my presence back to myself again. But it wasn't there yet, so I snapped. I'm like, you're telling me I hog the machines? I give up machines for you constantly, and I've never once told you to stop your workout. You're being so rude. You're being so mean to me, blah, 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 and you're not appreciating me. And I lost it. I completely lost it. And he felt really sad about it because he said to me that you were keeping me in the blind. How would I have known that you're giving up machines for me without you having ever asked me that, hey, can I use this? And that was true. I thought in my mind, I'm making a sacrifice. So I'm doing something for him. And I started to build this micro resentments by not communicating to him that I want the machine. So think about the times that you close off your energy because in the past you haven't communicated an unsaid expectation or standard to him that builds resentment in you and expectation in you. And those micro resentments cause your relationship to snap. So I know you're addicted to closing off because that's the only way we learn to grab and manipulate attention out of men. But I'm telling you that is not the key to a lasting relationship. Because here's what I discovered, and I would say I'm an addict in training myself. Okay, so I'm training this myself, and that's why I had to take notes for how to do it. So here's what you replace closing off with. The reason you close off is because at the core, you have an unsaid expectation or standard towards your partner. Now, that standard is being hogged within your own mind and it's building resentment. Instead, you replace closing off with communication. And this is the real key to having a long-lasting relationship. Because when you communicate your standards in a healthy way, in a pleasant way, before things happen, before things go wrong, you are giving him enough information to make the right decision and to do the right thing. So stop expecting him to read your mind when you're in a low state. Instead, pre-set up your relationship for success by communicating that standard directly and in a healthy way. So what this would have looked like in my relationship would be telling him that, hey, I want to use the machine here and I have my leg day today. I will take about 30 minutes. Can I use it before you? Asking him, demanding. And if he says no, then we can have a conversation about it. But it is so unfair, not only to him, but to you as well, to never even make the ask, to never even communicate. Okay, so I know I dumped a lot of information on you and it feels emotionally heavy right now. I still have 2 more C's to talk about that are extremely important to avoid at all costs. But I need to run because I have a meeting in 10 minutes. So I'm gonna close off this video here because those C's have a lot more depth and I will cover them. Watch this whole video about identity shifting because it's very important for you to not just learn these techniques, but to embody the new person that you want to become. And that's what you'll learn here. So that's it for today, and subscribe because I am passionate about talking about rapid transformation on a compressed timeline, manifestation, and taking our power back.